All right, so after you've taken your notes on all of the different ways we can prove things congruent, you're going to work on this practice. Now, this is something you guys haven't really done before, but it's very basic. So you look at these two triangles. We have one on the left and one on the right, and sometimes there are already congruent marks on the triangles. So your job is just to list out all the pieces that they show are congruent. That's step one. So this tick mark shows me that this side is congruent to this side. So I know that BA is congruent to BC. I knew that because of those. I also have an arc mark up here showing that those angles are congruent. So angle ABD is congruent to angle CBD. Now that's all of the marks that are there. Now what you took notes on a second ago had the reflexive property. Now the reflexive property occurs when both triangles use one side. So it seems really silly, but you're actually going to state that this side, BD, is congruent to itself, BD. So you can actually put tick marks right on there. That seems really silly, but if I'm trying to list everything on this triangle that's congruent to this, BD is one of those things. So if I look at number 2, I have this set is congruent, this set is congruent. So EF is congruent to HJ. FG is congruent to GK. All right. Number 3, there's 3 marks on there already. EM is congruent to PQ. EN is congruent to PR. And finally, this one over here. Now this is nice and easy. I only have to name it with angle N is congruent to angle R. Why did I only have to use one letter on this one? Well, there's only one angle at N. So that's what you're going to do. Just take a look. Couple things to look out for. When you have a 90-degree angle that sits next to another angle on a straight line, we know that this angle is going to be congruent to this. So let's just talk about, we know that angle YAZ is congruent to angle YAB. All right, we also know that so since they're both 90, those two are congruent. What else can we add? We have that reflexive again. This triangle on top has this piece YA, and it also is a part of the bottom triangle, so YA is congruent to YA. You're going to continue working. You need to have the front and back page, or the front and back of the first page done. What else can we look out for? Things like vertical angles. This is congruent to this, so you're going to list those out. Vertical angles here. So just be mindful, there's lots of, sometimes you only have 1 or 2 things that are congruent. Sometimes you can add to the picture. On Wednesday, we're going to go over this other piece and we're going to justify everything there. So good luck and I'll see you tomorrow.